Are there basis, are there justifications for the allegations made against the governor? Apparently, it will be difficult to give a no answer to that critical question, because it is obvious that we're in the year 2026, and unlike what has happened in all the other states of the Federation, Rivers State is yet to present a budget that will be approved for the 2026 fiscal year. And that's a constitutional requirement to cry out loud. There are also complaints that, persons that have not been approved by the State House of Assembly are being given political responsibilities and all of that. That is also a fundamental allegation. Whilst we might be debating the correctness or otherwise of these allegations, one thing is certain: they are fundamental. They are very serious allegations, and thankfully, just as they are termed, they are still allegations. The governor has a couple of days to respond to them, and maybe it is at the point of response that we can now be able to balance very effectively the allegations against the answers being given to them. But going forward, when you feel the pulse of the speaker, you see a man that is truly pained and embittered, a man that is speaking with passion and a deep sense of worry. I don't know where that is coming from, but I can read the indicators. The indicators are that perhaps the State House of Assembly has been boxed, to a corner, that they are so frustrated now, apparently left with not too much powers, and so they can't help but to, just speak the way they are speaking now through the speaker and all of that. It still doesn't indicate a proper delivery of required quality leadership on the part of the governor, I must say. I think the governor is a lot more interested in winning political battles, in winning fights, than in preventing them from happening. Prevention will always be better than cure. No matter how you look at it, when a ship is being rocked, it doesn't score credits or give additional marks to the captain. So I think that even if he's going to win this battle, it would have been better if he had taken steps to prevent them from happening in the first place. I've been surfing through the internet on all of this before I came here, and I realized also that the governor is actually now, in the midst of this crisis, prepared a budget, a 1.85 trillion budget that intends to present to the State House of Assembly. But the governor is the head of the government of Rivers State. I think that if there was good communication hitherto, all this would have been made known to the State House of Assembly, and we wouldn't have, gotten to this place that we are at now. If a state of emergency can be declared again before now, okay, it is not impossible. Remember, even the Supreme Court, post the state of emergency period, also actually endorsed as correct what the president did. And I think it would be a shame, even to the members of the State House of Assembly, if they don't display a little more wisdom in ensuring that the state as a whole is not rubbished. Because the impression they are creating is that, yes, if there is a not too good head of government, there is also a not too cooperative and good State House of Assembly in trying to see how issues can be resolved. There is no law that forbids the ongoing of the business of government because an impeachment or a removal process is pending. No. Even if you've served the notice, still look at the budget that is being proposed, and you address them just like that. And they must not forget the presence of Section 122 of the Constitution. Section 122 of the Constitution allows the governor to spend for a period not more than 6 months into a new fiscal year monies belonging to the state pending the passage of the budget for the year. And so technically the governor can still justify his actions, because that provision, envisages a situation where, unlike what happens in America, the business of government must not be allowed to be shut down. So for a period of 6 months, you can make spendings pending the resolution of the issues surrounding the budget for the new year. The only thing that provision said is your spending must be proportionate to the budget of the preceding year. You can't spend beyond that within that period. There is no budget for the year 2026. I mean, it is in acknowledgement of that you could see the governor and his team putting together the proposed budget of 1.85 trillion for the year 2026. So whatever IBAS did was for the year 2025.
No, I mean, when you said that spendings could be done 6 months, I'm just
yes. Yeah, you have to rely.
Would it not be that they were still implementing budget of 2025?
Yes, they can.
Even the federal government was still implementing that of 2024.
That's correct. That's correct. They can do that based on the provisions of Section 122 of the 1999 Constitution.
But their grounds is not on him spending from there, but they say he's been spending out of budget.
Exactly. But that's a huge work for them, because they will have to prove, he who alleges, has the burden of proving. I think the governor can fall under the defense of Section 122 and say, look, I've been spending, but it has not been beyond what was captured in the 2025 budget, and that could be it. But more importantly, like I said, all these evidences, the fact that these critical two arms of government have not been cooperating for the good of Rivers State. A huge ego battle is on ground, laced with political leanings and political permutations and all that. And that is wrong. That is wrong, because at this stage, what should be crossing the minds of, stakeholders, political office occupants in Rivers State should be how the state can be moved forward. I heard the speaker cry about bad roads, education, and all of that. What are you doing to get the cooperation of the governor to ensure that there are proper appropriations for this? And if you've called out and the man is showing elements of repentance and has prepared something, you cannot insist that until the impeachment issue is addressed, governance should be in abeyance. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make moral sense. It also doesn't make legal sense.
Present the budget, something that is in line with the Constitution. He says he will not. He's above the Constitution. Nothing will happen to him. If he does not present it, he will meet the president, he will meet National Assembly, they will tell us to leave him alone. And he has been boasting about this. People coming from outside Rivers State, he will change our naira to dollars and give to them, and tell them to go and wait for assembly members and make sure they don't succeed to do anything to him.
And I think some of these allegations about the governor's boasts and all of that sound a lot more like marketplace gossip, because there was no recorded evidence of such boasts. I wish he had played it. Please listen to Mr. Governor and hear what he's saying. Okay. That would have made a lot of sense to us, because if you juxtapose that statement with the recent actions of the governor, then there clearly isn't that kind of boast, because he's putting together a budget for the year 2026, and it's actually ready. Will the man who will say, look, if I don't present a budget, I'll still get the National Assembly to compel them to act, now put together a budget? I think the governor is listening to his advisors, and is also, taking note of the fact that certain things have got to be done rightly, But for Section 122, clearly there is no way that we can see justification in government spending without the law, the law requiring him to spend having been passed and all of that. If there's any good intention at all on the part of the State House of Assembly, adding the deputy governor to that impeachment agenda really revealed the fact that it's more of a political design than, an action that is laced with good intentions and all of that.
Because they say both of them are spending the money.
Yeah, but
both of them are acting in disregard to their own.
No. She is the deputy.
Their own part in the government.
She doesn't approve funds for herself. If where there is a governor, the governor is the head of the team. She at best is a subordinate. You cannot tie immediately the actions of the governor to the deputy governor, because it's the governor that is supposed to present the budget, it is the governor that is supposed to get approvals, it is the governor that is supposed to do all that the constitution requires. And the deputy deputizes and only functions at on the discretion of the governor and all of that. So there's no constitutionally imposed duty on the deputy to warrant these allegations against her, except if they have a plan, to remove numbers 1 and 2 and have Mr. Speaker become governor. But clearly, that is wrong. That cannot be justified. And I just hope the real thing will be done in the circumstances. It's an issue of loyalty against, disloyalty. Mr. Wike feels that I backed and made you governor, and maybe I should be in absolute control of everything. That is the bane, and I think that's how a lot of persons are seeing it, and that's why perhaps there's a lot of sentimental support and all otherwise for the governor as it is. We think that if you've supported the emergence of someone to become governor, I think it's only fair that you give him, sufficient space to be able to operate and manage the affairs of the state. When you should come in, morally speaking and otherwise, not politically now, is when you can see that from the performance of the person you supported to become governor, things are not meeting expectations. But sadly, the people of Rivers State are not seeing the governor that way.